our next segment. It's time to take out the trash. All right. This is bad and ugly, and it's probably going to backfire, and we're going to look dumb. But one of us played UMass, and one of us played UConn. So it's time to step up to the plate and make our cases. I'll start with my dissertation on why I bet UConn plus 34.5 at Army. First of all, I see value in the number, shockingly, against UConn, who has lost 94-0 to the two FBS teams that have played. The one FCS team that played, Holy Cross, beat them 38-28. It's ugly. But what did I say? This triple option team, slow team like Georgia Southern, hard to cover these big numbers. Air Force, Army, Navy as double-digit favorites, 43% against the spread historically. Double-digit dogs, like 60%. As an underdog, 53% overall. They are horrible double-digit favorites. Army, Navy, and Air Force are 8-15-2 against the spread, 34% when laying over 4 touchdowns, and 18-29-3 when laying over 20. Compare that to this, 21-6 against the spread when getting 20 or more. That's 78%. Triple option math, limited possessions, harder to cover these bigger numbers. Now, Army did beat UMass, 2019 UMass, 63-7. I still have this UConn team rated 7 points higher than that. Actually 10 points higher than that UMass team. That's how dreadful that UMass team was. But so this is just a blind fade of Army as a 34.5 point favorite. And on top of that, there are some things. So if I had to make a case for UConn, they're dreadful. But last week was pretty much week 0 for them playing Purdue. They had a new coach and a new quarterback. And the quarterback change was a good thing for our bet this week because they got rid of the turnover machine, Zergiadis, and they brought in Krajewski, who better decision maker. He can also do some things with his legs, which is big because they're going to be under pressure the entire game. They have a couple good running backs. This will probably end badly, but I think that UConn can score 7-14. Maybe it might take a fluke touchdown. But remember, you're playing Army team who's run well in the turnover department so far. It's a pitch, a fumble dive. They could have a drive that takes 10 minutes. And then it becomes extremely difficult to cover 34. This is a team that beat Citadel last year, 12-7. I know Citadel has familiarity with the triple option. UConn saw it in 2019 against Navy. I don't think it's that applicable here. There's a very new roster. But at the end of the day, this is a fade of Army as a 34.5 point favorite, which I will do almost blindly every single time. I actually passed on UMass. I just could not put my money on that UMass team anymore. I'm not passing on this week. But that brings us to your play on UMass. Take it away.
Remorse.
Are you joining me on UConn, by the way, or no?
I thought about throwing a couple hundred. Like when you and I decided, when we both figured out earlier in the week that you and I were taking these two teams, I thought, you know what, I should parlay them both together.
Yeah, I'll parlay for a couple hundred.
One thing, okay, I'll do it with you too. The one thing that scares me about UConn, besides the fact they haven't scored a single point against an FBS team, is that their pace of play is like 36th. And I just don't go 3 and out over and over at a fast tempo and keep giving up possessions to Army. But then maybe Army's feeling charitable because it's kind of like an orphan team with a coach that's already gone. And I don't know, we'll figure it out. UMass, yeah. So, I mentioned some things about the Boston College box score that really caught my attention. How much of that is Boston College? How much of that is UMass? There's a lot of things going on up at Amherst. I mean, I got texts from multiple people this week that are like, you shouldn't have put in that UMass bet. There's COVID going on. I hear the whole team is going to be out. And so I've been on this 72-hour search for what is going on from a COVID perspective. Now, I knew that the tailgate at McGurk last week was canceled. The administrators had they have a COVID scare, but that didn't stop 10,000 fans from still getting together right outside the stadium and hosting their own tailgate. Yeah, in another area. By the way, you get a ticket at UMass if you stand at a tailgate. I think we reviewed these rules a couple of years ago. Like the tailgating rules up there are funky, but the rampant speculation about COVID is what has sent this line.
Do they pay you too? Do they pay you to go in and watch?
If you're going to watch a UMass game, I'd get tanked. I'd be standing in the
Yeah,
back
of
of a truck bed. So, I mean,
Sure.
listen, this COVID, I can't find the source of this. What I do know is that this number opened around 19 and a half, 20, and I was happy to hit it on the opener. When it fell down to 17 on Eastern Michigan, I felt great. I feel justified in the number that I took. Then this COVID news gets released. Boom, we're all the way up to 23 and a half. Now the market's being bought back down to 22 because maybe this isn't, really what's going on. There is a lot of manipulation going on with this number. So I can't confirm that there's COVID on the team, but what I can confirm is that there are 9 players not playing. Walt Bell said on Tuesday at practice, specifically, there are 9 players sitting out this one because of injury, and that includes quarterback Tyler Lytle. Now, he's not the one who played against Boston College. Quarterback Brady Olson is expected to get the start, and he had a better than national average success rate against the BC defense.
He looked pretty good.
Yeah, and Eastern Michigan is no BC. And by the way, if you're familiar with baseball, there's a term called VORP, value over replacement player. I assume everybody on the UMass roster is pretty much equal to each other. So if we're going from first string to second string, I'm not really sure. Like, it's not like we've lost Jerkovic here, right? It's not like we've lost, DJ Uyunglele. So
And they have better depth this year. They had 115 kids in camp instead of like 90, which they had 2 years ago.
Yeah. And so, the Eagles are bottom 5 and more than half the advanced stats this year. Success rate, line yards, coverage. Offensively, they are near dead last in finishing drives, explosiveness, and havoc allowed. This isn't some great MAC team. I know that they've made a couple bowls, but they are dreadful in the advanced stats right now. Chris Creighton's got his work cut out for him, and you're going to make them this big of a favorite on the road against anybody. I don't think it's a good idea. So a place where UMass has shown improvement, there is improvement actually in their numbers. They're 76th in line yards. That's going to be needed against an Eastern Michigan team who likes to send Preston Hutchinson, their huge quarterback, on designed runs. But UMass is actually owning the trench a little bit. Also an improvement, offensively, they're 61st in finishing drives. They're getting past the 40-yard line. They're converting it into points. There are signs of life here that UMass can pull out of the New Mexico State, UConn, and Akerns of the world. So if you were to put EMU and Boston College against each other on a neutral field, wouldn't you think the spread would be greater than 13 points? I'm doing the math on this point spread. And then what would I make Eastern Michigan, Boston College on a neutral? It's nowhere near. The numbers don't add up whatsoever. Eastern Michigan is not this close to Boston College from a power rating perspective. It's all just rampant bullshit speculation. And if this COVID thing is true, fine. The number is themed for a reason. But I think it was all just rumor. I mean, I know the 9 players are out, but sign me up for UMass. Giving all these points over 3 touchdowns. Let the public run crazy with all this. Let the COVID cancel the tailgate on the outside. The kids are still going to be there. Sign me up. Let's go. No MAC team should be favored this much on the road.
UMass, UConn, baby. It's a trash man weekend. By the way, I think, fortunately for you, UConn Army's at noon on CBS Sports Network. That's my favorite slot. Fortunately, so people will watch me get embarrassed, but no one will watch you because I think it's on Flow Sports. But I'll be watching it.